And we have a special disclaimer from Pet Partners. For terms and conditions, visit www.petpartners.com/sample-policies. Products are underwritten by Independence American Insurance Company, NAIC 26581, and produced by Pet Partners, Inc., NPN number 7612549, CA license 0F27261, PPI Pet Insurance Agency, Inc.
Pets connect people, they disarm situations. It's a phenomenal asset to any employer that can incorporate. And it doesn't need to be pets in the office, just the appreciation and the value that pets bring to the employees' lives is a great start.
Hey, it's Nikki, Llewellyn Gregory, and you're on Gut Plus Science. You're in for a fast-paced, storytelling, action item-rich leadership growth experience. I hope you make this podcast a habit. I consider it a leadership mentoring tool. Learning together makes us better together, and that is how we change the world around us. Let's get to it. Hey, it's Nikki back on Gut Plus Science, and I've got Michelle Yates from Pet Partners with me again. If you caught our last episode, you know this is more than a conversation. It's a movement towards meaningful work. Deep, meaningful, joyful work. Michelle and I are on a mission to inspire people-first leaders to elevate workplace culture by recognizing the power of pets in our lives and in our work. Today, we're zooming out to look at how work itself is evolving, from corporate culture shifts and hybrid work challenges to the rise of personalized, purpose-driven benefits. And yes, we'll sprinkle in a little fun with some of our favorite corporate jargon, because who hasn't been in a meeting where we had to circle back or take it offline? Here's what I know: we've never had more access to people's real lives than we do now. Our coworkers' pets are showing up in Zoom meetings, joining Slack channels, and becoming part of our overall culture, whether they're officially on the payroll or not. And companies who embrace this shift, they're winning at engagement, they're winning at retention, and they're winning at just plain joyful, meaningful work. So let's dive into the evolution of work and the surprising but powerful role our pets are playing in shaping the future of employee experience. So, Michelle, welcome back. I love our conversations. Let's talk about how all this is changing right now.
Thank you, Nikki. I love our conversations too. And I love the word purposeful that you used. It makes so much sense. And going back to the evolution of worksite benefits and of work overall, the world has changed at a rapid pace. No news there over the last couple decades. And as such, worksite environments have evolved to adapt. I want you to get a glimpse of that. Just look at the changes in the actual physical environment for a moment. Hybrid and remote work has become mainstream. That was a niche market just a decade ago, if we think back. For those that are required to be on site, safety requirements and protocols are now mainstream. And in most states and provinces in North America, they're required by law. The aesthetics of the worksite environment and layout of the office, creation of collaboration areas that are not yet, here I'm doing air quotes, standard meeting rooms, the boardrooms with glass walls for transparency, bringing nature into the walls of the office, like increasing the number of windows, setting up outdoor break rooms with gardens, and really a shift from everyone being tucked into their offices to an open floor plan with communal desks and sofa beds and even pets in the office. So it's really changed a lot, just if you just look at the aesthetics and the layout of the worksite environment. And then we shift from physical environment changes to the vernacular. I love that you use the corporate jargon on the kickoff. Language that we use at work makes zero sense outside of work. Corporate jargon has come on the scenes, was not there decades ago. Phrases like paradigm shift, take it offline, circling the wagons. Like, what are we in the 1900s? What wagons are we circling? What's happening?
Where does this come from?
I know. I'm just like, but it makes total sense. And my favorite of all time is fire drills or firefighting, which I think it's funny because I'm married to a firefighter. And one time I came out of my air-conditioned office from my ergonomic, comfy, expensive chair, and I said, I've been fighting fires all day. And comment from said spouse was, you put on 140 pounds of gear and ran into a burning building to save someone? Doesn't make a lot of sense outside, but it makes perfect sense to people that are in it. So the corporate culture really has its own version of like the urban dictionary. And then there's the language that's specific to your company. One of the biggest challenges, I don't know if the listener can relate, when you start a new job, trying to figure out the acronyms becomes a full time
Oh my God.
job.
Yes, totally. Okay, so many things there to comment on. First of all, I love my whole team loves remote and hybrid work. We're remote first. We call it flexible first because we love the thought of maximizing our lives, and we have a very interactive remote first company. It's all by design, which takes me to when you were talking about like intentional design of workspaces. If you are working in the office, more greenery, bigger windows, right? It's all about the intentional design. And we think about how pets play into leaders leading with intentionality. Pets are like our most precious things, right? If we have a dog or cat or a chinchilla, we were talking about our friend that has a chinchilla the other day in the community. Whoever it is, the design of this work experience where we've got these pets to firefight with us. It's like, oh, I'm having a
Yeah.
bad day. I need to take a little break. And like Cardi, my dog, my English bulldog, she's my firefighter, right? And it's so helpful to have that just as like, I'm gonna go take a little walk break and come back with a fresh perspective and I can dig back into that thing that I'm fighting against or whatever. But the pet just makes it better. So gosh, just so many good things happening with these changes. But the core to all of this is intentional design. It's no, one size fits all. The next door neighbor company, whatever they're doing, it's not going to fit for us. We have to figure it out and lean in on the experts in different areas like you guys at Pet Partners to help us design all of this. The power of intentionality, right?
It's not a news flash that happy, healthy employees are productive ones. And there's so much going on. I was talking about worksite changing, but also haven't even touched on the technology and the demands of always being available. I cannot tell you how many times I've been on a conference call trying to be present and I'm having another meeting within the meeting via chat on maybe the same topic, maybe a totally different topic. And pets just help you kind of pull back and get that white space, taking your dog for a walk, petting your dog while you're having these multiple meetings within a meetings. It's just a lot. And the employers, so one of the interesting shifts that I've seen to help keep up and make sure the employees are not overwhelmed by being overly accessible, for example, is I've seen the shift from employers acting as big brother and being in the driver's seat to the employees looking more for a paternalistic or maternalistic figure. So, how are you looking out for me? How are you ensuring you're incorporating my work life balance? Because I need to be I'm a holistic employee with very specific needs. So, that is also what's driving a lot of the candidates' decisions to go and take employment with an employer or also stay. Are they looking at me holistically? Are they that paternalistic figure that's looking out for my safety, my health and well-being? And we have a lot of research that supports employers that recognize and appreciate the benefits that pets play in the corporate culture, have higher retention, have overall better job satisfaction. We surveyed employers of companies that offer pet insurance, and they're 84% more satisfied with their job because the pet is a great asset, but it's just the employer looks at me as a whole and understands my life and my work intersect.
Yeah, yeah. So we were talking about intentional design of culture and knowing our people, really getting to know them and asking the right questions to then match what we're offering for their experience at work. So intentionality, the other is meaningful. And you were just giving this example of like someone being feeling so valued because their employer sees that their pet is important to them. So of course, take a walk break. Of course, share a picture of your pet on Slack or Teams or whatever, right? I think it's just so important to tap into not just the intentional design of knowing our people and matching, but making it meaningful is another big piece. I remember you had mentioned something about it was a huge number of HR professionals consider pets as important to their family. It was like almost 100% or something.
Yeah.
And so when you think about that, it's like, okay, if nearly 100% of HR professionals are saying that for themselves, This makes it really easy, like a layup to then incorporate in the amazing offerings that you guys are creative with at Pet Partners. So they can just plug that in because they value it themselves. So I just think that's really cool. Didn't you have something on that stat?
We did. It was over 90%. I am not a decimal point thinker, so I forget the exact, but definitely north past 90. Another thing that's really interesting about some of the stats that we have is around even non-pet owning employees appreciate an employer that incorporates pet into the work site. And I think about all of the robust. So one of the benefits that a colleague of mine at another employer had said, she's like, they're offering fertility treatment. And I thought, I'm not in the market for that, but I thought, what a great employer. They instantly got that halo effect looking at the holistic employee. And I think it's the same for pets. Even non pet owners are appreciating that the employers are taking notice. And I'll say, like health insurance and 401ks, they're while very important, they're table stakes now. Pet insurance, flex time for working moms and dads, unlimited vacation, financial planning, shifting from the core one size cookie cutter fits all benefits to cafeteria style benefits goes back to that meaningful experience and looking at the employee holistically.
I love this concept of cafeteria style benefits, just that terminology. Can you dig into that a little bit more? Maybe share an example of what that looks like. But I love the concept of, I'm guessing, like kind of pick and choose to put together the best package, right? That works for an individual.
That's right. And several employers, because you don't want the employees to get enrollment fatigue, right? So, what they've done to do their due diligence upon, you really have to understand your workforce. You have to understand the age demographic, where they're at. There's regional differences, et cetera. A great way to do that is just to survey them. If we were to offer these 10 different benefits, would you appreciate that? Would you enroll in these? That's a key component. So, finding out what your workforce would like and then also making sure that you're making it easy for them to find these benefits, enroll in these benefits, and make sure that you're negotiating the best prices for these benefits. There is work to be done, but it pays off in dividends. Benefits are a great time to promote and show the employees that you are taking on that paternalistic, maternalistic role for them.
And because, the reason why we came together is People Forward Network as a company, our people, we're all obsessed with pets. We have our marketing team, we have our operations team, all of our pets have titles. Go check it out on the website, People Forward Network. But when we look at all the different ways to incorporate pets, like pet benefits and, these opportunities, like we had talked about, what was it?
Pet working?
Pet
Mhm.
working, yeah. On the last one, I was like, "Oh my gosh, we need to incorporate this on our team." There's all these different components, kind of like the cafeteria style benefits as the bigger concept. When we think about including pets, there's so many different ways to do that. I thought maybe we can dig into some new ones today, like we talked about the pet working on our team. You get to pick the title for your furry loved one and then put them on the website, right? Like that's one example of something we do. We have a Slack channel, we have a community channel for our leaders and clients to be able to share. But give us some more different ideas of pet benefits.
Yeah. So what I really like about the pet benefits, I'm a maximizer. So I'm like, okay, what's the ROI here? It parlays into so many other things, right? If you want to have a networking event and you incorporate pets, you have a two for one, if you will. One of the areas, and I know we're talking a lot about the corporate culture and, traditional corporate culture, not so traditional anymore. But where I've seen pets really play a significant role and helping the emotional support and well being is with the fire department. Going back to that example, they implemented, I think it's probably about 5 years ago, what's called a PEERS program. It's PEERS. And what this program does is they recruit firefighters, all ranks from firefighter to captain to chief, to be trained and implement a support group. Because if you think about what the first responders, and stuff like, I know police departments are adopting this, first responders have to go through true firefighting and true trauma on a daily basis. You can't just turn that off. And a key component of this PEERS program, which has been very successful in preventing some of the unintended consequences of trauma every day at work, is the dog. So the dog was put on the payroll and it moves around when someone has had an incredibly traumatic event, firefighter or police officer. they bring the dog in, and I was surveying the groups that have implemented this peers program. And it was so interesting because, firefighter and police, non-mitigated language, very direct. And I said, how is the dog helping elevate the game at the fire department or police department? And they're like, I don't know. You just pet a dog, you feel better. It's simple as that. And I said, okay,
That's it.
interview over. I think that we're good here.
That's it.
You pet a dog, you just feel better. And we can't always explain it, but it's pretty compelling.
Yeah. Well, now that you're saying this about firefighters, like when I think about the type of work, a team dynamic that's always had a dog, like where did that come from? The Dalmatian, right? Like you'd see the
Yes.
firefighter
Yes.
would have the Dalmatian dog. I'm like, I just put that together, right? Where that's been a thing
They
for
were
a
one of
long
the
time.
first. That's
Yes.
right. Yes,
That's
the
so
trusty
cool.
Dalmatian. That's right. Again, the evolution, they're taking it to the next level. So it's not just the dog being around, the dog has a specific purpose. They're supporting each other.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And then I think about another norm, probably way beyond when I originally saw the Dalmatian as a child on a fire truck. I was like, oh my gosh. But you think about hospitals, you think about rehab facilities, and there are therapy dogs, right? And going back to how you shared the very succinct, they just help us feel better. Like they heal us. And then thinking about the workplace and how important it is today to be aware and taking action to support people in their mental health challenges. I mean, it's not just about physical health. Our mental health is such a bigger issue, and so many times, from the past there and still today, stigma around that. And we're really trying to normalize that we all go through it. We all go through seasons of life, sometimes deeper than others, right? With mental health needs. And to be able to incorporate our pets to help us through that, oh my gosh, like no brainer. You're seeing this, right? With like clients, this is part of their mental health awareness and meeting people where they are, is including pets.
In a very disarming way. While there's a lot of the awareness and the destigmatization has really come a long way on mental health, there isn't a stigma around bringing a therapy. I want to play with a therapy dog. You're not just like, oh, are you having trouble? It's just like, yeah, who wouldn't want to go pet a dog and feel better? So it's sort of, I like to call it the gateway drug into, okay, let's start to make sure we're looking at the employees holistically and disarm them a little bit with pets. Cause we talked about this on a previous podcast. Pets connect people, they disarm situations. It's a phenomenal asset to any employer that can incorporate. And it doesn't need to be pets in the office, just the appreciation and the value that pets bring to the employees' lives is a great start.
I love bringing this up again, that a pet friendly culture doesn't mean that everyone brings their dogs to work. A pet friendly culture could be, we honor you taking walks throughout the day with your pet to take breaks, right? That's a version, and celebrating that you're out getting exercise and fresh air or whatever, right? That could be a very light way of doing it, or offering the bereavement inclusions, because we talked last time when I lost my 13-year-old dog. Thank God I was an entrepreneur and I designed this, intentionally for us to be able to take breaks. We have unlimited PTO at People Forward Network, and in my previous role, previous company as well. Goodness gracious, I needed that time. Like this is one of my most important things in my life today. My dog Cardi, I'm like, I don't even, I'm like, I don't know what I would do without you. Right. And to just think I don't have time to take a break. Right. So there's so many versions of how we design these innovative packages, right, to meet our people where they are. We talked about intentionality, you talked about surveying, and we talked about asking questions to really understand our people, and then match these meaningful solutions and include pets. Talk about how you help employers and HR teams and leaders stay competitive and innovate to create the right offering intentionally for them.
We do. So we offer pet health insurance and its payroll deduct can sit alongside any other benefit. But when we go in, it's so much more than that. It's understanding how we can incorporate pets into either the conversation. Some employers are open to having the pets in the office. So, really, a consultative approach. And what a great time. Many employers are doing this with other cafeteria style benefits, like we talked about. If you're launching a new benefit, it's a great time to use it as a launching pad for a culture shift. So, hey, we're going to be launching pet insurance in the fall. As such, we're going to implement 3 pet working events ahead of time. We're also going, we talked a little bit about bringing a mascot to test to see. It's not all kinds, sometimes it's not all comers. It's hard to have a lot of different dogs in the office. So, really, with any benefit, not just pet insurance, whatever new benefit the employer has taken the time to vet and source and implement, you should be figuring out, going back to the maximization, how can you incorporate and make your culture better by promoting the benefit and tying fun team building activities or engagement tactics onto that.
I love the idea of including pets. However, you do that. There's so many options that it is really that gold to shifting a culture. If it's part of it, you think about, the very blatant terms that the firefighter said, like pets just make us feel better. Yes, they just make us happy. And so to include pets in whatever we're doing to move culture, it just makes sense that naturally, you look at the statistics, it's like 96% this and 91% that, whatever. Okay, the data shows that we are all, embracing pets at the highest level, and to include that to help shift culture. Just hadn't thought about it before. It's like, there's the golden ticket, you
It
know?
is, and it's disarm I mean, just turn on the television if you actually have the patience to sit through commercials. I don't, but every once in a while I will. It's every other commercial is a dog tied to something. I mean, how is a dog tied to a microphone? I'm not sure, but okay. I instantly get going back to that halo effect. It's a disarming way and appreciation, even for non-pet owners.
I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so Michelle, this whole idea of helping leaders and teams stay competitive, attract the right talent, keep people engaged and find this, very meaningful work experience. You are innovative. Your team is very innovative in helping people design that to figure out the cafeteria options, if you will. So tell us, what is the best next step then for people to take if they're like, I need to figure this out for myself?
Well, so I'll provide a link in the bottom. I think pets are just a no-brainer, as we talked about. You pet a pet, you feel better, and that's a great way to start. Where you're going to be hitting probably about 70% of your workforce, and statistically, 70% of the workforce has a pet. So, surveys aside, if you just want to start small, think about incorporating pets into the office. Think about offering a pet benefit like pet insurance, but just keep in your mind, and the biggest thing I will leave you with, and employers are taking notice, and I appreciate that, is that employers used to hire the employees for their experience. It is now the employees in the driver's seat asking the employer, what experience are you going to provide to me? So make sure that you're providing the best experience you can.
So true. So true. Well, thank you so much. I love this special series, and we continue to go deeper with new ideas. I took down a few new notes today that I think we might go back and apply at PFN. I feel like we're like the guinea pig. I'm like,
I
"Ooh, I
know.
learned this from Pet Partners. I'm going to go take this back." We'll link in the show notes if anyone wants to take action on meeting Michelle or anyone on the team, just learning more about the innovative process that you could go through with them to just explore new ideas. We'll link that in the show notes, and we'll see you all on our next episode in this amazing series with Pet Partners being a lovely partner, a meaningful partner of Gut Plus Science. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Nikki. This was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
We just left the world a little bit better. Now, go do something with it.